So we're going to start with the first one. And this really is one of my favorites, frankly, is creating a system architecture document. And the first question is, well, why is that useful? And for me, it's really documenting the system architecture. There's lots of documents that go into the detailed design and subsystems and components and budgets and plans and all that. But I don't always see a higher level view of, well, what are the drivers for this system? Not every requirement. And notice it's not a requirements document. It's really what are the things that drove the architectural decisions, right? What are the key things that made us pick what we picked? Give an overview of the architecture that was selected and some relevant views of that architecture. So we're trying to provide people a view of the system structure, key behaviors, and how these components actually meet the requirements. Again, going back to what Dave Oliver said, specify what you want or take what you get. This is what I call a forest document as opposed to a trees document. It provides a foundation that you're going to give to other people that they can use now to figure out things like what's the risk, what's the cost, what's the schedule, how do we do work breakdown structures, right? The architecture helps drive which teams do what. It helps support how you're going to analyze and verify it. And also it helps minimize the risk that you haven't made the right architectural decision and ensure that you haven't lost why you made the choices that you did. Now let's talk about what it looks like. So on the left, I've got sort of a general outline that you can't really go wrong with. It's got an introduction. It says, okay, what is the purpose of this system that we're developing in this document? I'm sorry, it's the purpose of the document and what is the revision history of the document. Then you go into the system, right? General overview. What were the assumptions? What were the constraints? Again, it references but does not duplicate the requirements document. It's not meant to be a requirements document. It's really meant to capture things like assumptions, constraints, key design considerations, and those high-level mission profiles and scenarios that the system is supposed to achieve. So now you start seeing the use of some of the diagrams, right? You can capture a profile in a picture. You can capture it in a sequence diagram. Another important part is what environment does the system operate in, and what are the interfaces? And that's captured in a context model. And it's not just the environment interfaces in operation. You have to think about the life cycle of this product. You have to think about the environment that it's being manufactured and assembled in. You have to think about operation. You have to think about maintenance. You have to think about decommissioning. So again, it's that higher level view of when you're really thinking about the system and its life cycle and what does it see in terms of the things around it. Then you capture that system architecture, and usually it's going to be some sort of block diagram, some kind of structure model. You're going to capture key attributes, and then whatever other information you find useful. Note the heavy use of models versus text. The key here is that since again you're the MBSE leader, you is the one generating this document. That's how you make sure you have consistency, right? So if you had a bunch of different people do this without, again, some kind of tool, you're going to have trouble. But again, the top 5 is not about you're starting this journey, you're trying to find places to add value. You are the person who's driving this. So you're going to make sure that all these models are consistent with each other as you're using them. If you have a tool that you can use to help with that, great. But if you don't, it can be your brain to make sure that everything aligns.